Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. Today on the show I'm going to be talking about one of the older Marvel films that just got released on 4K recently. Took me a little bit to pick this one up. This was actually one that was hard to find, but I wanted to review it here on the channel because I really enjoy this movie and I wanted to talk about it and just give you my opinion on it. And that is Captain America, the First Avenger. This is the first Captain America movie. They even, telegraphed that pretty well. They put first in the title. But this is really the first movie starring Captain America, and it's kind of his origin story. And for an origin story movie, it's pretty good. Joe Johnston directed this movie, did a really good job with it. I really enjoy the heck out of this movie. This movie's a lot of fun. It's definitely a different take on the World War II film, because it's definitely in the fantasy realm, but also keeps some, World War II old-timey movie elements, which I really, really like. Joe Johnston's really good at that. And the movie's great. I mean, this has got, obviously, Chris Evans as Captain America, Tommy Lee Jones, Stanley Tucci, Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Some really good performances in this movie. And I'm talking today about the 4K version. Now, this movie came out on Blu-ray a long time ago, and I really enjoyed this 4K disc. Now, this is definitely not a mind-blowing reference quality 4K disc. This is definitely a step up from the Blu-ray. Video quality, I'll start out with, is definitely a little bit higher than the Blu-ray. Thanks in part to the HDR in this. Now, this is an HDR10 disc. It's not a Dolby Vision disc, but the HDR10 does do a good job of upticking the color palette of the film. The one thing I do have to mention about this movie is that it is definitely soft looking. This is not a razor sharp 4K image. It is definitely way softer than most of the Marvel films I have on 4K. Way softer than the original Avengers film, way softer than Infinity War. It's probably the softest looking of all the Marvel films I have on 4K. Does that make it bad? No, it does not. But I will say I was not completely blown away by the picture quality. The HDR does help brighten really bright daytime scenes, especially any kind of explosion or gunfire. The guns that the Hydra soldiers use that evaporate people really do have a beautiful bluish hue to them. I thought the colors in this were a big step up more than anything, especially explosions. There's a good amount of explosions in this movie, and the explosions look absolutely beautiful. As for the rest of the film, I wouldn't say that it's a very, very sharp image. It is a definitely soft image. Did I hate it because of it? No, I just wasn't as enthused by the picture as I was by some of the other 4K discs that have come out before this. Now, that also could be the movie itself. The cinematography itself does have a very soft kind of filter to it. Mainly to kind of give it that old 1940s look where the movie is set place, which if they did that and they were going for that, totally understandable. But the disc itself is definitely not an extremely razor-sharp image. I liked it, but again, it helps definitely put the movie in the time frame that it's placed in. The audio on this, however, was a big step up. This guy does have a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and the Dolby Atmos on this was really, really cool. They did a great job of enhancing the old 7.1 track that was on the original Blu-ray and really making it way more immersive. Audio, the surrounds are used perfectly. The overheads are used quite a lot during this. Any kind of scene where there's any kind of planes flying overhead or any kind of action you hear in the distance, they really use the overheads and the surrounds really well. Dialogue is crystal clear. Music sounds absolutely beautiful. That Captain America theme really blares in a few places. And Alan Silvestri's score is really fantastic in this. They did a really good job with the sound mix. I was really, really happy that they upped it to a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. Really, really enjoyed that. Overall, as a whole, I mean, the set here does come with the original Blu-ray. It carries over all the bonus features as well. If you already have the Blu-ray, this is a good upgrade from the original disc, but definitely not as mind-blowing as I would have hoped. This is not a cheap disc. This was around 30 bucks. If I could make an honest opinion, unless you really, really are a big fan of this movie, you may want to wait until it goes on sale, if it ever goes on sale. These Disney movies, especially the Marvel films, don't really go on sale very often. So if you can pick this up for $20, maybe even $25, it's probably worth it. For the full price, again, unless you're a big fan of this one, you might want to wait for a sale. Anyway, I'm Andrew Cavanaugh. Thank you for coming back to Cavanaugh's Corner, and I'll see you on the next video. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button. Until then, I'll see you next time. Take it easy.